This is ShadowQuant, Market Brief, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Tuesday, July 28, 2026, and this is the After Hours session. Now, let's get into it. The S&P 500 closed flat, but the underlying structure tells a story of deep caution. With the VIX at a deceptively low 18.58, while crypto fear sits at extreme levels, the market is holding its breath for tomorrow's Federal Reserve decision.
The close was defined by a sharp divergence between value and growth. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, tracked by Diamonds, led the pack, rising 0.4% to $521.26. The Russell 2000, tracked by IWM, also outperformed, gaining 0.6% to $292.91. Meanwhile, the S&P 500, tracked by SPY, finished essentially flat at $739.09. The Nasdaq 100, tracked by QQQ, was the laggard, falling 0.3% to $682.12.
A market rotating out of tech and into value, with earnings showing mixed signals. Let's check in with Cypher for the corporate flow.
Corporate filings today were quiet on the earnings front, but the SEC activity warrants a look. Ashland Inc., Chains Digital Holdings, Knowles Corp., and S&P Global Inc. all filed Form 8K filings today, signaling material events or executive changes that investors are digesting after the bell.
Quiet filings, but significant strategic shifts in crypto-adjacent equities. Now, to the macro backdrop. Pulse, what are we seeing in the data? The macro environment is tight. According to the latest Federal Reserve data, the Fed funds rate sits at 3.63%. The yield curve is sending a caution signal. The 2-year, 10-year spread is at 35 basis points, which is effectively flat. This flattening often precedes periods of monetary tightening or economic uncertainty. Sticky inflation and a flat yield curve ahead of a critical policy meeting. Spectre, any risk signals?
Yes, the most glaring risk is the disconnect between the VIX and sentiment. The SIBO Volatility Index, or VIX, is at 18.58, which is historically low. However, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index is at 14 out of 100, signaling extreme fear. This suggests the equity market's calm is superficial.
A calm surface with high undercurrents. Apex, what's on the agenda for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, July 29th, the market's eyes are on the Federal Open Committee. The FOMC rate decision comes out at 2 o'clock Eastern. This is the primary driver for the week.
If you're finding value in this analysis, support the project at patreon.com/ShadowQuant. Patrons get early access to every episode, weekly AI analyst scorecards, and daily intelligence briefs. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, hit that follow button and leave a rating. It helps more traders discover the show. We appreciate you. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Market Brief. Stay tuned for the Tokyo session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.